All right, shalom to the hopeful elect. First of all, to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Ramak Mian from Great Millstone, Miami. And for the topic of this lesson is that now is not the time to think or believe small. Now is not the time to have little faith. Now is not the time to put the Lord in the box, as far as what the Lord can do and will do for his elect in these last days. We know that we're coming into a time in which Esau about to come down with great wrath. And we understand that we signed up to hazard our lives and we signed up for persecution is coming against us because we stand for the names of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So we know that. We signed up for this. Yet, with that, now is not the time to just think that, just because Esau got these things carnally and these draconian measures and this and that, and he's turning up on the left-hand side, don't think that the right-hand side ain't going to turn up even more. Now ain't the time to be thinking small, because when you came into this truth, you sincere brothers, from whenever you came into this truth, soon as you came into the truth, you heard about the great deliverances that the Lord's about to give for us. That is about to be greater than what we read in the scriptures, because we in the climax of the Lord's whole movie. The things that we read about before, that was actually part of the movie. And now we're at the latter part of the movie, in which you save all the big stuff for the climax. The things that you spent your budget on, the explosions, this and that. The Lord is saving the best for last. So the left-hand side is going to turn up, but the right-hand side is going to turn up even more. Don't put the Lord in the box, man. When the Lord is going to do some things in these last days to glorify his name. It's all about his name anyways, Now here's Jeremiah 16:14. It says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north." And that's talking about North America, because that's where the main deliverance is going to be. It says, "And from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers." Right? So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as those who scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. But the main deliverance is going to be from America, from North America. And it's going to be so great that what we just read is that it shall no more be said what the Lord, when he brought us up out of ancient Egypt, when the Lord split the sea, that was a great and mighty deed. And we know this time the Lord is going to do it by beaming his elect into what the world calls UFOs, which are the chariots of the Lord. But when you go back into Exodus, it was things that happened before the Lord split the sea. Israel was being kept while the rest of Egypt was being plagued. The Lord was plaguing that place with heavenly plagues to the point where they couldn't deny that the Most High was doing these things unto them. The Egyptians, their magicians, they couldn't keep up. The first couple miracles, okay, they were able to kind of try to emulate, but they couldn't once it got, I believe, to the lice. They couldn't do it. The Lord mingled fire and hell at the same time and rained it upon them. And this is before Israel left out and walked through the midst of a sea that was split. So those things that we read, and we think about the times that we coming into now with Esau, he got alligator Alcatraz, in which we know that he got buildings and places that set up to be concentration camps. He's just really flexing and try to put fear in people with the alligator Alcatraz, making it public. But we know he had things like that, But we know he coming now with draconian measures, and the chip is coming, the hour of temptation. Now ain't the time to think small. We read in the scriptures about the great deliverances that the Lord gave to his people. We think about 185,000 Assyrians that came up against Jerusalem, and the Lord killed them all in one night. That's the type of mindset to have in these last days, man. Because we're going to be thrown into situations. Brothers going to be thrown in different prisons and this is that. But we read the scriptures about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We read the scriptures about Daniel and different men that were delivered from prison. Peter, the apostles, over and over again. Matter of fact, here's Romans chapter 15, verse 4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. See, we have expectation. Not only do we understand the bitter that we have to have patience and suffer for Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that brothers will be thrown into situations. You're going to have that. You will have brothers thrown into situations, but that's not going to be the end all be all, because it's going to be for the glory of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The Lord is going to deliver. Why you think the Lord makes us read about Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, about Jeremiah, being cast into a pit and just delivered over and over again? Samson killing 1,000 Philistines with a jawbone of an ass. King David, and the way the Lord was with him against troops, against Goliath. So many stories, so many examples. Shoot, even Yahushua and the mighty things that he did, that need to be on our mind in these last days. And our faith need to be built up, because the Lord is doing it, because he's going to turn up on the right hand side. It ain't just finna be the left hand side turning up and we just gotta see Esau doing all he want, and we just wish we could do videos. No, this we ain't finna be doing videos, because this truth is finna go to another glory. The Lord gonna pour out spiritual power to his men. Turn many fishes into many hunters. Thou my battle axe and weapons of war. Shoot, Yahweh said that we're gonna do greater things than what he did. In St. John chapter 14, verse 12, it says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. And whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. And we in a time in which the Lord is going to turn up the right-hand side, even more than the left-hand side is turning up. So the Lord's going to have it to where, man, brothers call upon Yahweh Shem Yahushai to bring fire, lightning down from heaven, and the Lord is going to answer it. He's going to do it. Or to come with some type of deliverance from a situation the angels compass about you. Brother end up flying or disappearing. Yahushua, he walked on water. He said, the things I do, you shall do greater. Brothers might run on water. So the Lord say he's going to do greater. All the people that he healed, the Lord's men is going to be healing people. He fed 5,000 people with a couple fish, a couple loaves of bread. What you think going to be done in these last days? All these multitudes of people coming. And you can't buy without the chip. You can't buy nor sell without having the implantable microchip, which is the mark of the beast. The Lord is going to turn up in the spirit, man. The Lord is going to do great and mighty things. We came into this truth hearing the apostles tell us about spiritual power. Tell us about how the Lord going to do this, and he can do this and do that. And you believe. Shoot. Now is not the time to have little faith and just think carnally and go off of just what you can see with your eyes. The Lord is going to do great and mighty things, and we read about it in the scriptures with his men. And shoot, how you think the things that we read about, when it happened, it wasn't written about yet. 3 men get thrown into a furnace, a literal furnace. 3 men literally, they went through that, man. So we gonna go through some things, and it's gonna be for these times. Esau got his technology, he got this and that. It's gonna be situations where it look impossible to get out of, but we got the scriptures. Hey, Luke chapter 1 verse 37, it says, for with the Most High nothing shall be impossible. Right? Nothing shall be impossible, because remember, the Lord is finna lift up that standard so his name could be glorified. He's going to do it. We've been prophesying in his name all these years. The Lord's about to come through for us, man, in a major and mighty way. So let's end with this. Sirach chapter 43 verse 28. It says, how shall we be able to magnify him? For he is great above all his works, man. That's the power that we call upon, man. We talking about the Lord who created the universe, the heavens, the stars, the moon, the sun. We can't put the Lord in a box on what the Lord could do for us in these last days. Come on. Or what the Lord could do for you. Because we going to need some out of the box type stuff, man. Esau about to come with everything he has. You know? And there's no might in our hands. Shit. We can't try to fight back with Esau's weapons when he is a sword and he got all type of things. We gonna need divine intervention. We gonna need that power that rose Yahweh from the dead, the power that created the earth and the heavens and the moon. We gonna need all of that. You know? Verse 29, the Lord is terrible and very great and marvelous is his power. When you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed. Right, the Lord gonna far exceed. You know? He gonna far exceed what we think in our minds. You know? But our job is just to have faith, man. Keep the faith and believe. Because we're gonna have to stand still before Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And the Lord gonna allow us to be put in the situations to prove our faith. You know? And for him to show his glory and show his might and his care and his love for us. He gonna far exceed what we could even think, man. You know? It says when you exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary, for you can never go far enough. Right. That's why you keep serving the Lord. You know, keep praising his name. Verse 31, who has seen him that he might tell us, who can magnify him as he is? There are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works. And we about to see the big work be done, the big mercy work, how the Lord's going to deliver that 144,000, that 1/3, that elect, and keep them during Jacob's trouble, keep them during the hours of temptation. All of these people eating, drinking. Scripture say we're going to be merry and have abundance. 7 women going to come to you. Why? Because the Lord keeping you. The Lord is doing great and mighty things. That's what's about to be done in these last days. Not Esau just running rampant. Esau about to be put down. The Lord's just going to let him do his thing. 2/3 going to get caught up. But the Lord's about to confound these Edomites, man. The Lord finna send out the angels and turn on the green light for all type of spiritual power and miracles. It's reserved for these last days, man. Which this victory that we have through Yahweh is about to be manifested. And there's nothing Esau could do to stop it. The Lord want him to form the weapon, but it won't prosper. And it's going to be glorious how the Lord confounds our enemies, man. You know? So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakudash, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect. Kwame Asharala and Shalom.